This isn't a ride to the summit. It's Mount Fuji's supply line. Restricted to workers and supplies, these roads keep the mountain running. I had special access and 4 days of working, waiting 2.3 miles in the sky. So here we are at the summit of Mount Fuji, 3,776 meters up into the sky, the roof of Japan. Annually, 300,000 hikers will make their way to the summit. For me, the story isn't about how to hike Mount Fuji or the spectacular view you'll have at the top, that goes without saying, but about how Japan runs Mount Fuji. In this episode, we're going to take you into how Japan makes Mount Fuji such a popular and successful tourist destination, how they get the supplies to the top, where you can get a drink from a vending machine or even send a postcard from the summit of Mount Fuji. The easiest way to really see the summit of Mount Fuji is to board a flight heading west. And if the weather allows, you can see into the crater of Japan's largest volcano. But most people hike there on one of 4 official public trails, maintained with services during the climbing season. Another way to the top for those who work on Mount Fuji is by this. How we'll go up today. So here we are at the 5th station of Mount Fuji, Fujinomiya. That behind me is the Bulldozer. Everyone calls them bulldozers, but they're really tracked cargo machines. Mountain supply crawlers built to climb Mount Fuji's volcanic gravel. Trucks pull up in the early morning with cargo like food, water, drinks for the vending machines, and trail and hut maintenance. Today, wood for some renovations. This one carrying eggs, fruits, drinks, and more wood. And here, all the supplies to open up the summit post office. And the food they need to survive.
cup noodle.
Lots of instant noodles. I'm gonna be taking the bulldozer to the top, to the summit. I don't actually have to do any kind of hiking. You drive up to the 5th station, kind of like cheating a little bit, but this is a way to really see how Mount Fuji runs, the essential services to make this mountain a tourist attraction. It's much more than a tourist attraction. We'll talk about this later. The back doors were secured. There are 3 bulldozer trails on the Shizuoka side and 1 on the Yamanashi side. This Fujinomiya bulldozer road is said to be the steepest. Bulldozers have a top speed of about 8 kilometers per hour, 5 miles per hour on flat surfaces, but when climbing at 20-30% grades, it averages 3.25 kilometers per hour, about 2 miles per hour. The trip takes 2 hours on average to the summit, not including stops en route. A second crawler has taken off to service the mountain huts along the Fujinomiya Trail. The bulldozers, crawlers, operate continuously throughout the climbing season so services can continue uninterrupted. The second crawler has caught up. You can see how it navigates the switchback. And the cargo load in the front, lifted high to balance it, an amazing feat of engineering. The bulldozers and the special roads are strictly prohibited to the public. I went along with Japan Post to help them open and film the experience with permission. Seeing how they operate reveals the hidden system that keeps Mount Fuji running, how supplies and staff make it all the way to the summit on a very exclusive and bumpy commute. We left base at 8:30 a.m. Over the next 2 hours and 3 minutes, the machine grinded its way up 1,360 meters of vertical elevation. We made 2 quick stops at mountain lodges to offload supplies, averaging 3.27 kilometers per hour before finally arriving at the summit at 10:50 a.m.
Suita.
Welcome to the summit of Mount Fuji. It's just so fascinating to see how Mount Fuji works. By tank. We're on a schedule. The crawler has to return, so we need to unload everything quickly. Thankfully, the weather has cleared up. Most of this is for Japan Post, some of it going to the lodge next door. I jumped in to help the opening team. Moving around up here, it can be hard. Over 3,000 meters at elevation, the air pressure drops and the body gets less oxygen. Altitude sickness can occur. The body will adjust, acclimate. Keep breathing slowly. Take breaks. Don't forget about that, guys. It's all about teamwork. After 15 minutes, we'd unloaded everything, ready to open up the post office doors after a long hibernation. They're opening the door right now for the first time this year. It looks like it's really hard to do that. It's been a year of rust, a year of weather. Oh, hey! But it opened. Let's have a quick look inside. They did a good job covering up the office at the end of the climbing season last year. It's a lot bigger than we thought. Everyone went to work unpacking, cleaning, stacking the shelves. The Fujinomiya route opens in just 2 days. The sun set, the temperature dropped. Evenings on the summit get cold. The next morning, the postal team preps the signs. The Fuji Sancho Post Office, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. from July 10th to August 20th for well over a century. This post office opened in 1906 at the 8th station, moving to the summit location in 1909. Mount Fuji, a destination for pilgrims for centuries, for tourists since the Meiji period in 1868, so Japan added this post office to turn the climb into a message. With a stamp from the roof of Japan. People send less mail now than before. I send postcards from places like this to members of my Only in Japan postcard club on Patreon, each one with special stamps and a little piece of the journey. It's something from Japan you can actually hold on to. And every postcard helps keep the postal tradition going too. Each one getting the official Fuji Sancho postmark and carried down from the roof of Japan. The mailbox is reinstalled. I wondered what that hole in the ground was for. It has to stay upright in storms, high winds, keep out water. After 15 minutes, it's ready for customers on opening day. And I'm this year's first customer. Cool. The signs are in place. The opening is clean. They are ready for business tomorrow. Working up here is open to postal workers around the Nagoya-Shizuoka region, and I joined their initiation meeting a month before to learn about the prep, products. A trainer covers safety, emergency procedures, and the practical skills and equipment needed to live and work at Mount Fuji's summit. Mail is treated like treasure, secured from storms, the elements. The team practices this to make sure it's done right. Mail is first placed in this plastic container, taped to keep it closed. It's then put into a bag for waterproofing. After that, into a protective canvas mail bag. Finally tied and locked until the sorting begins at lower elevation. One more wrap in a vinyl bag? At this point, the mail is protected better than Fort Knox. The Fuji Sancho team practices this until it's perfectly consistent. Women have joined the Fuji Sancho staff too. Everyone had similar reasons to work at the summit. The chance to work with foreign visitors was also a reason. Meet different people, then in their towns and neighborhoods, a taste of adventure. We'll look inside their living conditions on the summit shortly. 5:55 a.m. On July 10th, opening day, a line out the door. I made sure to get some souvenirs as well. じゃあ3番の証明書、あと、その500円のシール。You can also buy postcards up here if you didn't bring your own, as well as other souvenirs like summit certificates, stickers, and more. Note, you cannot send packages from the summit. I know what you're thinking. You can't mail your gear home. You have to carry everything you bring with you back down. I met some international tourists at the summit sending postcards. It becomes proof you really made it here, officially stamped, then making its own journey back from above the clouds. Sending mail to someone you love becomes part of the climb itself. 16 postcards en route to Switzerland. I wonder who's going to get home first. Probably the postcards. Living at the summit isn't easy. I asked my friends at the post office, why live up here and what is life like for them?
富士山頂で働いてみたかったっていうのが大きいですけど、はい、ちょっと楽しんでみたかったんで、はい。
生活大変ですよね、ちょっと。
大変ですね。はい、食べ物とかはなかなか。
食べたいもの食べられない、お風呂もない。
お風呂もないです。ちょっと汚いかもしれないです。
ちょっとだけじゃない。
そうですけど。
でもずっと覚えるですよね、この仕事、この経験。
はい、覚えてます。一生の思い出です。
It's hard to imagine a more unusual office. So how do the people live atop Mount Fuji? Let's have a look.
ここが生活エリアになります。はい。こんな感じで3段ベッドになってます。
Wow.
はい。僕が一番下で、彼らが。で、一番下は一番狭いです。高さがこんな感じなので、頭をここで当たっちゃうんですよ。マットで植えないとこうやってゴーンってなっちゃうもんで、ちょっとここ狭いんですけど、僕はなぜかお気に入りで毎年ここです。はい。もう上の方は全然広いんですけど、一番上なんてもっと広いですけどね。
上も。
はい。
すごい。
はい、こんな感じです。で、まあここがキッチンという形ですね。で、ここでまあみんなご飯食べたりっていう形ですね。はい、こんなのを用意して持ってきてます。
だからいつも3人いますよね。
そうです、3人です。で、昨日までいた2人と今日来た2人で入れ替わって、はい、やってます。
わー。毎日何食べますか？
毎日こんな感じです。僕はレトルトですね。パスタだったりカレーだったり、はい、こんなのをいろいろ用意して、こういったパックご飯。はい。と、あとはパスタですね。
パスタもある。
電子レンジで温めれるやつ。これを持ってきてます。はい。あとは朝とかだと、まあ朝はだいたいこの辺ですね。ゼリーとバームクーヘンと、あとコーヒーですね。
コーヒー必要ものね。
はい。朝は必ずコーヒーでやってます。で、だいたいこの辺が1週間分の朝、昼、夜の分ですね。
What do you think? Comfy? Too small? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. It's amazing how busy it gets at sunrise here. Everyone waiting for the post office to open. Next, we'll go inside my Mount Fuji Mountain Lodge for a tour. Since Mount Fuji started to require hikers to have an accommodation, a place to stay, the lodges have become more important. It keeps the trail stress-free. There's lots of different lodges, mountain huts along the route. There are currently 42 mountain lodges along Mount Fuji's 4 trails, with the Yoshida trail having the most. I'll be staying at this lodge right on the crater rim. Next to the post office and lodge is Fujisan Chojo Okumiya Shrine. Long before climbing Mount Fuji became recreation, it was a religious pilgrimage. This summit shrine is still active today, worshipped for protection from fire. And yes, you can even have a wedding ceremony up here. Mount Fuji is still very much a place of worship, not just a tourist attraction. Let's take a tour of the summit lodge, Chojo Fujikan. All right, leave your shoes here. And inside the lodge, you can see they're set up for tonight. A lot of people are going to be coming here. It's not a hotel. It's more of a, mountain hut. It's a lodge. You're going to be very close to your neighbor. This one at least has some curtains. But they spent a lot of time making sure that everything was set up for today. I've been staying here for the last 2 nights with nobody in here really. So it's going to be nice to have some people. Mountain lodges fill up, mostly resting more than sleeping. As you can see, It's really packed tight in here. This is the Mount Fuji mountain hut experience for sure. This is where I've been staying. It's kind of a mess. It's a little bit of a smaller room compared to this. I did have a roommate for a little bit, but I put my bag up here, my camera gear. There's one place to charge some stuff, so I was able to charge my cameras and my phone. And it's been pretty comfortable. I think the first couple of nights I really did have a headache from the mountain. After that, not too bad. There are no bathing facilities for hikers at Mount Fuji lodges. Water is just too precious. And this is, well, the toilets. 2 for the women, 1 for the men. And this is for number 1 if you have to go pee-pee. But it's a bio toilet, which I guess creates this here as a biofuel. So nothing gets wasted, including your waste. Let's head towards the front and the kitchen. This is going to be filled with boots in a couple of hours. This is the kitchen. This is where they're making all the food. And you can see the bulldozer has brought in a lot of cup noodles. Kyo curry rice? Curry rice is such a popular hiking food, easy to make. In the shape of Mount Fuji, the altitude flag is a nice touch. The curry as hot as lava. Look at that steam. Nice on a chilly summit afternoon. Curry rice, it's always satisfying, one of my favorite dishes, but we do have other choices on the mountain. One night was heated saba, mackerel fish, rice, and some dried seaweed. Quite healthy and filling. Cup of egg soup to round it out. Oh, this was lunch. Curry rice again. You won't believe what they can make in this kitchen. Something I had before leaving, coming soon. Vending machines, up here at the summit, 500 to 600 yen per drink. At most lodges, you can refill your main water bottle. Hand the pet bottle back to the staff at the lodge where you bought it. Most lodges are okay with that. They do have some vegan options too. The menu is on the wall. Service with a smile. They're still doing some renovations to the lodge here, but this is where you can come in, you can eat some food, grab some souvenirs. You order over here. I've been eating my breakfast, lunch, and dinner here. And then, in the morning, if the weather's good enough, you might have a pretty good sunrise or sunset. But this has been home for the last few days. Up here, the weather changes can be abrupt. Rain, lightning, wind, visibility challenges can sweep in fast. It's certainly challenging running a mountain lodge at the summit. I talked with the lodge manager about it.
もうずっとこの小屋自体はもう昭和の最初の頃からずっとありますね。電気は発電機で起こすので、はい。
お風呂もない。
お風呂も水がないと入れないので、今年は水が少ないから、まあ1週間に1回入れたらいいですね。
料理はどうしますか、水道なかったら。
水道なかったら、もう水あげるしかないですね。そうするとやっぱ商売カップラーメンもそうなんですけど、水がないと何にもできないです。水大事です本当に。
じゃあ雨降らなかったら
もう何にもできない、商売できない。
I asked him about the boom in international tourists to Fujisan.
世界遺産になったので、やっぱ一番大きな違いは世界遺産になったので、世界中の人が富士山に来てくれてるっていうのが一番やっぱ嬉しいですね。はい、昔は日本人しかいなかったのであんまり。はい。
It has become very international as you can see at check-in. Staff need to speak more than Japanese these days. Finally, people are here. It's got a different vibe to the mountain hut. Reservations are mostly done online now, and payments, even those have gone high-tech. Thanks to satellite internet, credit cards can now be used at the summit. The staff carry laminated guidance cards to help guests understand the rules, speak in English sometimes to clarify. That's a big change to 10 years ago. The goal for many is to settle in fast, try to get as much rest as possible to start the day fresh at sunrise, which is around 4 a.m.
And 5 p.m. is your dinner time.
The lodge is ready to serve a lot of people. Curry rice is prepped to grab and go. Find a seat at a table and eat. You can order more too, like soup or a beer if you like. Waste is collected and taken down the mountain by bulldozer for processing. There's no running water for washing. The lodge filled up fast. My neighbor is surprisingly close. I seemingly have just centimeters of space. It's just for a night. I'll sleep better prepared. Earplugs and eye cover to keep the light out helps a lot. Lights out is usually around 7 to 8 p.m. Guests start waking around 4 a.m. for breakfast and sunrise. Then head out early as the lodge resets for the next group. Mountain huts run on a schedule. 4:15 a.m. The sunrise is near. Hikers who left the 5th station around 11 p.m. start hitting the summit. The sunrise is much better on the Yoshida side, but it's not bad here. It is chilly. You'll need your jacket, hat, and gloves. By 5 a.m., it's pretty bright. That morning sun is so inspirational. Up there, Kengamine. It's Mount Fuji's actual highest point, 3,776 meters above sea level. I prepped for a crater hike for a few hours. First, to the summit marker. Kengamine used to be a weather station. It's a pretty steep hike. Take it slow. Enjoy the view. So this is Japan's highest point, 3,776 meters. And if you look over in this direction, about 18 minutes is what's said to be Japan's highest vending machine. On average, it takes 90 minutes to hike around Mount Fuji's crater. And about 40 minutes from here to the vending machine. This is the entrance or exit of the Yoshida route. And you can see it looks a lot more colorful than the Fujinomiya route. Yamanashi's in charge of this side here. But it's certainly, it seems more touristy. There's actually shops and stuff like that. So let's go check this out. The Yoshida side lives up to its touristy reputation. Yamanashi and Shizuoka have different ways to manage the mountain for sure. In front of Yamaguchiya Lodge is a sunrise lookout, usually crowded from 4 to 5 a.m., and the vending machine is usually over there. But we've come too early in the season. Coca-Cola sends 2 up by Bulldozer annually. 5 to 600 yen, or about $4 each per bottle, still much cheaper than at American airports. The summit vending machine finally arrived, the day after I left Mount Fuji. Thanks to the viewer for sending the clip. Look right there. You can see the shadow of Mount Fuji because the sun has now gotten so low, it's casting it really far into the distance. That's so cool. Over my 4 days, I saw so many beautiful views up here. It's really magical to live above the clouds. I hiked down a bit to investigate the other mountain lodges and trail. This is the 9th station. Life on the mountain, morning taiso exercises, very Japanese. It was a little different 300 meters down the mountain. The dining area, souvenir shop. I descended further to the 8th station and found a public toilet. 300 yen per use, payable in cash or with select digital payment services. Some toilets accept credit cards too, payable at the lodge. This is the 8th station. They actually have a doctor here who will check out trekkers, hikers that are suffering from altitude sickness or other things that could be associated with being at such a high altitude. Consultations and treatment are free when the doctor is in, usually from mid-July through early September on the Fujinomiya route. It's good to know that there is some medical support on Mount Fuji. If treatment isn't enough and evacuation is needed, even the bulldozers become part of the rescue system. Injured climbers can be transported down when a helicopter isn't practical. In a typical year, about 50 climbers become official mountain rescue cases on Mount Fuji. This is what the trail looks like, quite rocky, uneven. Many hikers wear helmets, walking sticks to protect from falls. Good hiking boots are a must. Gaiters keep rocks from getting into the boots. Rain gear kept nearby as showers come in quickly. Move slowly and patiently when the trail is full. You'd be amazed how many international visitors come unprepared to hike this major peak. Weather above 3,000 meters can change without notice. You need to be prepared even if it's just for the day. The old 7th station is just over 3,000 meters high. Yamaguchi Sanso is one of the few huts built largely by hand, surrounded by traditional stone walls with a Showa retro feel. I went in for a look around, but ended up eating lunch here. I had the whole lodge to myself for an hour, and they had more than just curry rice on the menu. More choices closer to the trailhead. Here's the menu in English. I got the pork kimchi rice bowl. Wow. After a couple of days on the summit, this felt like luxury. Not bad for around $10 at almost 10,000 feet. The taste was pretty darn good. Japanese walking sticks, kongozue, are good to have. Hikers collect yakiin, burned-in stamps as they climb. Each participating mountain hut has its own design, often showing the hut name, elevation, year, or a Fuji-related symbol. The stamp is applied with a heated metal iron, directly onto the wood. This hiker has collected so many over the years. Each one is very unique. It's easy to forget that Mount Fuji is still an active volcano, so eruption preparedness is an important part of running the mountain. And you can imagine the danger if one did happen during the climbing season in these CG images. New reinforced concrete evacuation shelters are now being built along the Yoshida descent route. Each can hold about 135 people, with 13 planned by 2031, funded by the climbing fees. Safety information and warnings can also be pushed directly to hikers through official climbing apps. Speaking of cell phone service, I surprisingly got download speeds of 312 megabits per second and nearly 32 megabits per second up at the summit. 4G and now 5G base stations are located near Kengamine Peak, according to the mobile phone providers, keeping even Japan's highest point remarkably well connected. This is the start of the Yoshida Trail at the 5th station, and it feels almost like a small resort town. Most climbers start here because of the easy access from Tokyo, but plenty of tourists come to just experience Mount Fuji at 2,300 meters up. They even have pony rides, and you can ride a horse as far as the 6th station here. So many options on the Yoshida Trail. Certainly a lot more touristy on this side. Climbers now pay a hiking fee. It's best to register and pay online, but you can also register here if the daily quota hasn't been reached yet. You get a wristband showing you've completed the process. The gates close at 2 p.m., but climbers with mountain lodge reservations can enter later. Unprepared climbers can also be stopped if they're not prepared for conditions above 3,000 meters. Staff here help keep the climb safe for everyone. The Fujinomiya Trail on the Shizuoka side is quieter and simpler. It feels much less like a resort, although a new 5th station facility is planned here, so look for changes in the years ahead. The Shizuoka side highly recommends making the online reservations for the hiking permits. Back at the summit, the post office opens again at 6 a.m. Day 2, and it's business as usual. It all depends on the bulldozer supply line. Summit staff bring out mail, rubbish, and other things to be taken back down the mountain, while postal workers swap out for the next shift. Now, when we look up at Mount Fuji, we can say we once worked up there for a few days. Otsukaresama deshita. During climbing season, these bulldozers run every day, carrying food, water, workers, and everything else the mountain needs. Skilled drivers push through wind, rain, rough conditions with heavy payloads, keeping everything running until the season ends in early September. Once you understand how it all works, it's quite an amazing operation. I was offered a ride down, but I decided to hike it. I figured I'd earn my hot spring soak. And dinner too. Oh, and that magical thing the summit kitchen can make? Freshly ground hot coffee. I didn't believe it would be any good, but it was. Savored with that view above the clouds before my descent to the real world below. I've been up here for 4 days, my home, the roof of Japan. Sunrises, sunsets, and long views that remind us why this iconic peak and life is so beautiful. Wow. So I've been up here for 4 days, 3 nights. I'm kind of sad to be leaving, going down the Fujinomiya Trail. And a part of me is not sad at all. I want to get back home, take a nice hot shower and bath, have a good meal with vegetables, sleep in my own bed. But adventure means you're going to be a little bit uncomfortable. And that's not a bad thing. And who knows? I said 15 years ago, the last time I climbed Mount Fuji, that I would not be back here. No way. And here I am again. It always calls me back, and I'm sure I'll be back here again one day in the future. But until then, sayonara, Fuji-san. If you liked it, hit that subscribe button and join me on another episode as I take it every single corner of this amazing country. Mata ne.